Long time no see from YouTube Medical University. I have a quick question for everyone. In order to control your illness, you give up eating delicious food. If you had to do that, it would be really tough, wouldn't it? But what if you could get restaurant quality meals that are nutritious just by heating them up in the microwave? I thought, with this, I could confidently recommend it to my patients. I'd like to share some dietary approaches and products. Why was I so impressed? It's because in reality, I recommend dietary therapy to my patients in the clinic, but I see every day how difficult it is for them to stick with it. A housewife in her 60s was the patient. She cooked for herself and was doing her best to control her blood sugar levels, but coming up with a daily menu was hard, so she kept making the same meals. That's what she told me. In my clinic as well, I've seen many people with diabetes or high blood pressure who strictly managed their diets, but ended up falling into a rut and couldn't keep it up. And then they even stopped coming to the clinic. That's what they told me. There are many patients like that. When I look at these patients, I see that for them, eating equals enduring or putting up with something. There are a lot of people who think that way. I understand why, but I believe that's not the case. The reason is simple. Tolerating something doesn't last. Instead of giving up either the simple happiness of enjoying your meals or your health, you can enjoy your food and, before you know it, become healthier. I think this is the most ideal way. Enjoying delicious food and managing things like blood sugar and blood pressure shouldn't be in conflict with each other. Actually, I believe people stick to a healthy diet because eating is enjoyable. In behavioral economics, continuing an activity because it's enjoyable is called a nudge. As a doctor, I can also recommend recipes like this. Honestly, it has been difficult until now to introduce healthy recipes by saying, here's a recipe like this. And isn't it actually kind of a hassle to think about, choose and eat something delicious every time? I think everyone has at least once thought, it's a pain to decide what to eat today. I wish someone would just decide for me. Or I wish someone would have a delicious meal ready for me when I get home. Choosing what to eat is just a hassle. During times like that, you buy and eat lots of ready-made meals from convenience stores or supermarkets. Even though you didn't plan to eat that much, you end up buying too much and overeating, then regretting it afterward. Doesn't that happen to you? What I want to recommend to people like that is today's meal. It's supervised by a registered dietitian and designed with health in mind, but also created by a chef. The meal is delicious, even if you don't think about anything else right now. So the introduction got a bit long, but this video isn't just about introducing a meal. It's about what's important in dietary therapy for lifestyle diseases like diabetes, and how you can make the most of this meal called Nash. I'd like to explain it from a doctor's perspective, based on medical facts. It's really delicious, so I hope you'll check out my expressions during the actual tasting scene. I've actually placed additional orders for myself and my family as well. So, in this video, I'll first talk about why the diets everyone is trying so hard to stick to don't last, from various perspectives. I'll introduce them by dividing them into different patterns based on patients. Next, I'll explain why non-alcoholic steatohepatitis is the answer everyone cares about and how you can use that knowledge. You can start watching from here, and in part 3, we'll have a tasting session. I made some selfish requests and tried many products. Some were medically beneficial, while others just tasted great. I'll introduce some carefully selected menu items. Why is dietary therapy important in the first period? Why can't people stick with it? If you don't get this, even with effort, dietary therapy won't last. Many people end up giving up after just a week, so based on my experience, let's learn from these examples of failure and the reasons why many people can't stick with dietary therapy. By doing so, you can prepare in advance and make dietary therapy easier. For example, consider Miss A woman in her 40s who works in an office. She was diligently calculating her daily nutritional intake. She would open an app and calculate things like protein, carbohydrates, and fats, but eventually she found the process too troublesome and ended up quitting. There is also Mr. B, a manager in his 50s. He tried hard with dietary therapy, but as a manager, he said that because he often has business dinners, he ends up eating out a lot and eventually gives up on healthy eating. A housewife in her 40s said raising children and caring for her parents leaves her no time for herself, so she just grabs convenience store bento or sweetbread when she can. I'm sure many of you can relate to these situations. In fact, there are many diabetes patients who struggle with these kinds of problems. Many people feel that even if doctors give them advice at the hospital, they're too busy to follow it. What doctors actually tell you at the hospital is, this is what a diabetic diet looks like. It's based on announcements from the Japan Diabetes Society and the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare. According to the guidelines set by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, the daily energy intake for a 60-kilogram man is about 1,600 kilocalories, and for a woman it's about 1,400 kilocalories per day. And the nutritional balance is also specified. Carbohydrates such as rice and bread should be 220 grams protein from meat, fish and eggs. 60 grams and fats, oils and lipids are also specified. They tell you to keep these to about 53 grams. But in reality, it's really difficult to plan your meals every day while calculating these nutrients, isn't it? There are hardly any patients who can do it perfectly. In my outpatient clinic, we also consult dietitians who advise patients on improving their meals. But it's often hard for patients to maintain these changes. The reality is that there are few patients who can do it. The reason is that patients are told so many things, so they understand it in their heads. But in the end, it's hard, so they can't keep it up. This is the biggest obstacle. To be honest, even I, who am talking about this like this, also eat these kinds of foods. I can't calculate meal energy at all. Many comments on my previous YouTube videos say, I get the medical evidence, but I can't maintain it. What should I do? Honestly, I want to know too. When I can't stick to dietary therapy, I feel like I'm no good. My self-esteem drops, and I end up overeating. Then my blood sugar rises and my lifestyle diseases worsen. And in the end, it leads to a vicious cycle where my kidney function declines, or arteriosclerosis progresses, and I develop diseases where my blood vessels get clogged. I myself was troubled about what to do, but I think one of the answers is this non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. It's cheap, convenient, can be stored for a long time, and it's healthy. Honestly, it's almost frustrating, but I can't help but recommend this. Let's jump into what I'm curious about in the second period. I'll talk about what makes this Nash superior and how you can make the most of it from a doctor's perspective. Every meal on this Nash menu contains less than 30 grams of carbohydrates and less than 2.5 grams of salt per serving. All the menus are thoroughly supervised by a registered dietitian to strictly meet these standards. I think this figure of less than 30 grams of carbohydrates is very well thought out. The reason is, the amount of carbohydrates in 100 grams of white rice is about 35.6 grams. And all non-alcoholic steatohepatitis meals are managed to be under 30 grams of carbohydrates per serving. In other words, with even less carbohydrates than a bowl of white rice. And yet, it still delivers complete nutrition in one meal. By the way, as indicated in the guidelines of the Japan Diabetes Society, it's said that to avoid a rapid spike in blood sugar, the amount of carbohydrates per meal should be kept to 40 grams. A single serving of non-alcoholic steatohepatitis not only meets this standard, but actually falls below it. A rapid spike in blood sugar, known as a blood sugar spike, is believed to increase the risk of arteriosclerosis, where the blood vessels harden and may rupture or become blocked in the future. This meal is clearly designed with a scientifically calculated amount of carbohydrates. I want lots of side dishes and, if possible, 3 bowls of rice too. I think a lot of people feel that way. We're told to limit ourselves to half a bowl, but that's pretty tough, isn't it? For example, let's say you eat 3 Nash meals a day and 3 bowls of white rice, which is a bit extreme. Even then, the total carbohydrates from 3 Nash meals would be at most 90 grams. 3 bowls of white rice would be about 107 grams of carbohydrates. So even if you add those together, it comes to 197 grams a day, which is still below the recommended daily carbohydrate intake of 220 grams for people with diabetes. I did the math myself and honestly thought it was pretty impressive. While eating 3 Nash meals a day with balanced nutrition, even if you eat 3 bowls of white rice without holding back, the amount of carbohydrates is still not a problem. I really think this is an amazing meal option. Even in outpatient clinics, there are many people who avoid eating white rice for dinner or are holding back. But with Nash, you can eat something that looks this delicious and you still don't have to hold back on white rice. I think a lot of people might feel like they could keep this up, right? Traditional restricted diets usually mean cutting down on white rice as much as possible and limiting salt. Since you can't eat a lot of different things, you end up having almost the same meals every day, and salt intake is also being considered. The recommended daily salt intake in Japan is under 7.5 grams for men and under 6.5 grams for women. The recommended amount per meal is said to be about 2 to 2.5 grams, but non-alcoholic steatohepatitis is standard is that all meals contain less than 2.5 grams of salt. In other words, one non-alcoholic steatohepatitis meal accounts for about 1/3 of the daily salt intake. Honestly, this is surprising from a medical professional's view. In hospitals, for patients with heart or kidney issues, meals called low sodium diets, which limit daily salt intake to less than 6 grams are provided. Patients all say the same thing. The food is tasteless and they just can't eat much of it. I've actually eaten hospital meals myself, and low sodium diets really are bland, making it hard to eat much rice. But Nash's meals aren't bland at all. Why is that? Why does it feel that way? I think it's because they use umami, sourness, and the ingredients' natural flavors well. It's said that about 70% of diabetes patients also have high blood pressure. And since both are diseases that can lead to the progression of arteriosclerosis in the future, as a doctor, I want to prevent both of them at the same time. In that regard, this Nash meets the standard of having less than 2.5 grams of salt while still being delicious. I think it's excellent because it achieves both being tasty and keeping the salt content low. So it's not that low salt food isn't tasty or that tasty food has to be high in salt. Since I think many people are skeptical about whether it's really tasty, in the third period we'll actually try it out. I'll have the staff help me, and they'll be trying Nash for the first time. While getting the honest, real impressions, I'll also share which dishes you should definitely choose if you order Nash. From my perspective, having tried many of the meals myself, I'll also introduce my recommended dishes, so please look forward to it. At YouTube Medical University, I share insights as a practicing doctor to help you get healthier and prevent diseases starting tomorrow. I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel before you forget which one it is. The camera angle will change now. I'd like to invite physical therapist Tak Kun to try the food with me. This time we tried a lot of different dishes, but I've carefully selected 4 menus that I especially want to recommend because they're delicious. First, I'd like to introduce 2 dishes. The first is tomato hamburger steak with mushrooms and cheese. This is delicious and a popular choice. Next is Dietary chicken. This is the dish I thought was the most delicious when I tried it, so I'll start by eating these 2. The mushroom and cheese tomato hamburger contains 366 kilocalories in case you're curious about the calories. Protein is about 20 grams with 19.5 grams present, and carbohydrates are limited to 17 grams. Sodium content is 2.2 grams. The Dietary chicken has 457 kilocalories, and the protein is an impressive 23.5 grams. That's really more protein than a whole serving of protein shake. It contains 15.8 G carbs and 2.2 G salt. Alright, let's get started with the cooking. Tak Kun, could you please microwave this for me?
So I just need to microwave it, right?
That's right, and then you can eat it right away.
I'm heading out.
Alright, could you please microwave it for a bit?
Sure.
Is it 600 watts? At 600 watts, it should be 5.5 to 6 minutes.
Start.
Yes, it's okay. Oh, it looks delicious. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, it's finished. This is how it looks. Yes, it smells really delicious. Now I'm going to have Tak Kun try it right away. Try the hamburger steak first. I'm getting hungry.
It smells really good.
It smells good.
Delicious.
Is it good?
It's good.
Ah, that's good. It's good, right?
It's really good.
Ah, that's right. It has mushrooms in it, and there's also a lot of cheese. But even with all that, the calories are still low, which is amazing. It was really delicious.
It's insanely delicious. It's really good.
That's good. If you're tired and considering a convenience store bento, it's better to keep this at home since the calories are counted. You can't go wrong with it.
You can eat it guilt-free.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, it's tasty, so I feel like I can keep eating it. This mushroom cheese tomato hamburger steak is always ranked at the top, so if you're not sure what to eat, I think you should try this one. I think I could eat this every 3 days and still be totally fine with it, so you won't get tired of it easily. For now, I think you can just go with this one. The carbs you might be worried about are actually just 17 grams. So if you compare that to the 220 milligrams of carbs in the diabetes guidelines, it's only about 1/13 of that. Like Tak Kun just said, I think you can eat this without feeling guilty at all. Next is the Dietary chicken, which I found the most delicious. It's a bit spicy, but if you like that, you'll really enjoy it, so please try it.
It has a rich aroma.
That's right, the aroma is really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little spicy and delicious.
It's a little spicy, isn't it? That's right. It's a bit spicy, but very authentic. I was surprised it was frozen food. It's the kind of flavor that makes you want lots of rice.
Yeah, it goes well with rice.
Honestly, I feel like I could eat this as a real treat. This is easily one of my top 5 favorite chicken dishes. That's why I felt I just had to introduce this one to you. So, who would I recommend this to? If you're the type of person who can't keep eating something unless it's delicious, definitely give this a try. It's perfect for those who want restaurant quality food, not bland hospital meals, but something authentic. However, the spiciness is medium, so if you're not good with spicy food, please be careful. Is it pretty spicy?
No, not at all for me.
It's just mildly spicy, right?
Yeah, I like it, so it's delicious.
As you can see, besides the main dish, there are also protein-rich edamame and carrots. And depending on the menu, there are also 3 side dishes, so you can get dietary fiber at the same time. Now I'll introduce the last 2 dishes. The first one is this protein-packed morning koji chicken. And the other one is a Japanese-style risotto soaked with the delicious flavor of clams. These 2 are recommended for busy morning, so I'd like to actually try them now. As for the calories, the morning koji chicken has 381 kilocalories per serving, and it contains 24.2 grams of protein. The carbohydrates are 16.8 grams, and the salt equivalent is 2.3 grams. As for the Japanese-style risotto with clam flavor, since it's a risotto, it also contains rice. However, it only has 270 kilocalories, 13.3 grams of protein, 26.1 grams of carbohydrates, and 2.5 grams of salt. Now, I'd like to actually try eating them. I wondered what koji chicken would taste like, but it's surprisingly tender, and the koji flavor stands out, delicious. And since this one is a risotto, it's basically rice. I recommend it for breakfast. Please try the koji chicken first.
Yes, let's eat. Yeah, it's tender.
It's tender, isn't it?
It's tender. It's easy to eat.
That's right.
It's nice to eat this in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. It actually keeps you full for quite a while. Here it is. The inside looks like this, with plenty of chunks of chicken, and vegetables are spread all around. I want to try it too. I'm actually pretty happy about this. It's really good. Seriously delicious. This is really tasty. Just by eating one of these, you get 24 grams of protein. That's why I really want to recommend this for breakfast. If you weigh 60 kilograms, aim for 60 grams of protein daily. Skipping breakfast makes it hard to get 30 grams each at lunch and dinner. Getting 24 grams in the morning means you won't need to eat as much protein later. That's why I recommend having this in the morning. It also keeps you full longer. Protein takes longer to digest than carbs, so you don't get hungry as easily. Around lunchtime, while I was working, I didn't feel hungry or lose energy, and I was able to stay focused. So, I recommend this for people who are busy with dinner meetings or don't have time to make breakfast in the morning. Just having this as a substitute for breakfast can really improve your health, so please give it a try. Alright, let's move on to the next one. This is a clam risotto. It looks like this, clam risotto. So, it has rice in it. Alright, now I'd like Takkun to go ahead and try this risotto as well.
Oh, alright, let's eat. Yeah, this looks really easy to eat in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Since it's a risotto, it's easy to digest. And you can really taste the flavor of the clams.
Yeah, the umami flavor really stands out.
I think it's a flavor that really gives you peace of mind, so definitely try it. This is also a recommended breakfast, so please give it a try in the morning. The clam risotto is recommended for those caring for their stomach and intestines. This is also good for people who often have business dinners, or if you overate the day before. Also, if you drank too much alcohol. If you want to let your body rest right now, this is easy to digest, so I recommend it. It has a really gentle flavor, but it's actually quite savory, so you can eat it naturally. Of course, the salt content is kept low, but it doesn't taste like a hospital's low sodium diet.
Yeah, it sounds like an easy food for the morning after drinking.
That's right. I actually always decide to have this at that time, so please try it out when you feel the same way. I also recommend this for people on a diet. Even though it has rice in it, it's only 270 kilocalories. That's really low. If you eat sweet bread from a convenience store, it's usually around 400 kilocalories. But with this, you can keep it to 270 per meal. So, if you feel like you've had too many calories in a day, I think you can choose this as a balanced meal to adjust your intake. This clam risotto is also expected to help rest your intestines. Recent research shows that gut health is important for blood sugar management as well, so I recommend this for people who want to take care of both their gut and their blood sugar. That's why the role of breakfast is actually pretty important. It's said that if you make sure to get enough protein at breakfast, your blood sugar will rise more gradually compared to when you only eat carbohydrates. So, eating a proper breakfast and being mindful of your protein intake is a basic principle of dietary therapy, so please remember that. What was it like eating it? I hope I conveyed how impressive it was. Many struggle with dietary therapy because the menu becomes monotonous. As a solution to that, Nash has a system where new menu items are updated every month. There are menus from various genres, including Japanese, Western, Chinese, and desserts. Many people mistakenly believe that nutrition-managed meals are restrictive, but I thought it was medically significant that they have developed such a diverse menu within those restrictions. That's because, as I mentioned earlier, the key to dietary therapy is whether you can keep it up. In fact, the guidelines of the Japan Diabetes Society suggest that rather than focusing on which dietary pattern is most effective, the most effective dietary therapy is the one that patients can actually continue. And I think many people have the impression that these nutrition-managed meals are expensive. But it's not just that the first order is cheaper. There are also systems in place that give preferential treatment to people who repeat and continue eating them. That's the discount system called the Non-Alcoholic Steatohepatitis Club. And if you continue eating and reach the highest rank, amazingly each meal costs only 499 yen with tax. You can get it for less than a single coin. And once you sign up, it's not like you can't quit. There's also a skip feature that lets you temporarily pause deliveries when you're traveling or on a business trip. And you don't have to make a purchase every time. It's safe because you can stop deliveries or cancel your subscription anytime, 24 hours a day. Because of these considerate features, I think you can start a subscription with peace of mind. Now, from a clinical perspective, I'll talk about who I actually recommend this to. If you feel like any of these apply to you, please consider making a purchase more proactively. For example, people busy with work or who lack time for breakfast. Even on a hectic morning, eating this Nash meal ensures you start your day with a nutritionally balanced meal. Other examples are people worried about meals for distant parents, siblings, or relatives. Wouldn't you feel better ordering this Nash meal and having them eat at least once a day? For office workers who eat out often, you can manage your nutrition and reset with Nash after eating out too much. How about using it in that way? And this Nash meal service is actually quite popular. Many people are using it, including my friends and even some of my outpatients. There are quite a few people who use Nash. My nurse colleague says after a night shift, she's too tired to make breakfast in the morning, but eating unhealthy food doesn't help her recover from fatigue. At times like that, being able to heat up a proper meal in the microwave means she doesn't feel guilty after a night shift, and she said eating this makes her body feel lighter. One of my outpatients in her 50s told me that her father lives alone in Kyushu. She called her father weekly to check if he was eating well, but wasn't sure what he was actually eating, which made her anxious. She arranged non-alcoholic steatohepatitis meal deliveries for him, and afterward, he began calling more to say things like, "The hamburger steak was delicious." She said she was really glad she started sending him meals. And then there was a man in his 60s. This person was an executive at his company, but he kept having to attend business dinners one after another. He exceeded his calorie limit daily, and his weight kept rising. So he boldly switched his lunch to non-alcoholic steatohepatitis 3 times a week, and when he did that, he felt much lighter. And he said with a laugh that he also felt less guilty about eating out. What do you think? There are many different ways to make use of it. I think it would be good if you could think about how you would use it, or when you might rely on it, and choose in your own way. From a doctor's perspective, Nash is something that really supports you in continuing, helps with blood sugar control, and can be recommended as one answer to improving meal management. This is true for everyone, but at first, you take notes, plan your meals, do the calculations, and work hard, but it's just hard to keep it up. Discouragement can make you think it's over and cause overeating, creating a vicious cycle. It's really tough to choose healthy meals every day. I think there are actually a lot of people who find it really troublesome to decide what to eat today. And it's exactly when you're tired like that because it's such a hassle. You end up relying on convenience stores or ready-made meals and end up overeating. At times like that, you can eat without thinking, almost on autopilot, and still not feel guilty while staying healthy. I think that's one of the appealing points of Nash. That's why, as a doctor, I want to recommend this meal to everyone. Of course, it's just a tool to help manage your diet. So if you have any medical conditions, I think it's best to make decisions while consulting with your doctor or a registered dietitian. Maybe you've given up on enjoying meals in order to control your illness. Maybe you thought a life where you could enjoy eating without feeling like you're sacrificing anything would never come back. Some people say things like that, enjoying eating while managing your illness. I thought that Nash was the one who offered that kind of option. Please consider trying it out, even if it's just for a week. And if you can experience that deliciousness and convenience for yourself, I think it will turn into hope that maybe you can keep it up. That feeling itself is actually very important for managing things like diabetes or high blood pressure. Living your life with a sense of self-efficacy, thinking, I can do this, is a very important point for continuing. Managing your blood sugar is a lifelong commitment. That's why it's important to find options you can stick with. Why not consider this as one of your solutions? Of course, what you eat is important, but so are things like the order in which you eat your food, how you choose desserts or fruits, and meal methods that help prevent blood sugar spikes. I've introduced these topics in previous videos, so please check them out from the description or the card at the top right. At YouTube Medical University, we're aiming for 1 million subscribers. Your channel subscriptions and high ratings really encourage us. I'll see you again in the next video. As a general practitioner, I've learned from my patients how to live well into your 70s and beyond. Their stories show there are ways to age healthily, and I aspire to follow them. Is socializing more valuable than exercise? Should we reduce medications instead of increasing them? This book shares seniors' wisdom for healthy, happy living at any age. See the description below for more.